So does anybody know, like, does the process know that we're trusting it? Because I'm not going to lie, sometimes it feels like the process is processing without me. Like, the process has left the building. The process has completely forgotten about me. We can't just sit back and trust the damn process forever. But today is kind of an impromptu video because I have been trying to trust the fucking process. We hear people, emotional support napkin. We hear people saying all over the place, all over the healing, personal development, self-improvement, self-help, mental health, fucking recovery and healing space. Trust the process. Well, bitch, what if the process forgot about me? Because I've been trusting the process for a long fucking time, and the process feels like it totally forgot. Like it took off from the station and left me in the bathroom. Like that's honestly what it fucking feels like. So today I'm going to talk about how the stories we tell ourselves create our realities. Probably 50% of any healing journey. Maybe even less than that, 30% trusting the process. But the other huge piece is doing the fucking work, putting it into action, learning new shit and doing it, and putting, like, actually doing it. So where do I want to start? My life has been seemingly crashing out. And I mean, I say that kind of loosely because I've lived through a lot worse. I've survived a hell of a lot worse. And this is where the stories we tell ourselves comes into play. Because I know I've lived through worse. I know that I have been in situations where it feels fucking impossible to do anything about anything. I know what that feels like. And although it's a similar feeling that I have now and recently with all this shit going on in my life right now that I'm going to talk a little bit more about later, but I keep comparing it to past instances when in reality, and I don't want to say compare, but I mean, in reality, it's almost as if I'm using it as an excuse, right? It's a story I'm telling myself. I'm telling myself, and you've been through worse. This is nothing compared to what you've already been through. And that's true, and that very well could be the case. But also, in those situations, I was addicted to heroin for 17 years, where my life was completely unmanageable, where I felt incredibly powerless. That was the story I told myself then. And it wasn't until after the fact, now looking back, that I realized that that was a false story, that I could have done something and I just chose not to, right? Hindsight is 2020. Better than 2020, in my case, it seems. So I'm noticing a pattern, and I've known this pattern about myself, and I guess it's a story I tell myself, but a lot of times I will wait until my back is against the fucking wall, until the pressure is overwhelming, until I feel like I don't have a choice. It's a pattern. In this particular situation, and I've been stranded in Mexico for over 5 years, and then only recently, within the past 10 months or so, I've had the money to leave. There are stories that we tell ourselves that aren't true. So the story I was telling myself was that all I needed was to build a community and build a platform, and then I'll be able to create an income, when in reality that's not true. And I'm learning that the hard way. And so now I'm kind of sitting in this space where I'm running out of money. And I mentioned things are seemingly crashing down all around me. I'm going through what's called a tower moment in my life right now, and it feels very unmanageable. Very similar to my addiction. It feels like I'm powerless. It feels like I'm stuck. It feels like my back is against the wall. I feel like the pressure is too much. The tower moment. The tower moment. Where the tower's coming crashing down and it feels like everything is falling apart, but in reality, it is only happening to help me. It is only happening to force me to make a fucking move. Because, like I just explained, the story I'm telling myself, the pattern that I've been noticing is that it isn't until my back is against the wall and I feel like I don't have a choice before I actually make moves, make decisions, and do what I plan and have been saying I'm going to do. I don't know if that makes sense. But I recently lost my income, and my fear is now realized because I'm no longer making money, and I'm back at that place. And that was my biggest fear, was to be back in this fucking spot. And I feel paralyzed because I'm overwhelmed. And when I get overwhelmed, I fucking freeze. And that's another story. And I've done this exact video, I feel like a year ago. I feel like I did this exact fucking video where I was saying the exact fucking thing. And this is the pattern in the story that I'm trying to tell you. Whatever you are telling yourself, whatever stories you are telling yourself, they're not true. You don't have to wait. Because now looking back, I wish I just made the move a year ago, before I had the following, before I had the delusions that I could create my own income by building this online within a year. Like, I mean, delusional. I am essentially in the exact same spot. Actually, no. I'm worse off now than I was a year ago because I had more money a year ago. So it feels like I'm fucking going backwards. Why is it so hard to make a move? Because I'm comfortable. Even though I'm not, any moves that I make they're new. They're unknown. And there's a lot of fear behind that. What if I make the wrong choice? What if I go somewhere and I regret the place I go? Because a lot of people don't believe me because I see it in their faces. I can see it in people's faces. The look on my friend's face yesterday when we were talking about me leaving. She knows. I've told her, a bunch of times, I don't talk to anybody. I don't have any friends. I don't have anybody in the States. And I don't know why people don't believe me when I say that. Because the look on people's faces, she's like, well, you don't have anybody to stay with? No, I told you I don't have anybody. Period. No friends, no family. Period. Zero. I have nobody sending me money. Nobody fucking helping out. I have fucking nobody. And that's okay. It's not that I can't. It's not that it's impossible. But it's annoying that people just like don't believe me. I was surprised to find out how many people here have help coming in from the outside. Like, have people sending them money, PayPal, all the things, like tourists and people in other countries, because we get a lot of tourists here, right? And essentially, sugar daddies, like a lot of the females, the gringos, the tourists, the people who are living here, the expats, have sugar daddies. I mean, for lack of a better term. And I was so surprised to learn that. But anyways, I don't have a sugar daddy. A lot of times, and I don't know if this is the addiction in me or the addict in me, but a lot of times when I do have a choice, I will choose to do nothing. I mean, that's literally what our brains are wired to do. Our brains are wired to choose the most comfortable, the most familiar choice, right? I know I'm not the only one who seemingly waits until the last minute, until your back is against the wall, until it feels like you don't have a choice before you actually make the hard choice. And I could sit here until the fucking cows come home and talk about how you have to trust the process and blah, blah, blah. But the process is processing without me, it feels like. And I'm not asking for advice. I'm not asking, I don't want to hear, you can do this, you got this, you're so strong. Honestly, I don't want to fucking hear that anymore. I really don't. I really fucking don't. I know I can do it. I know I can because I've survived a hell of a lot worse. The issue is feeling like and knowing that I'm all the fuck alone and that I have no help, no support, no family, no friends. You know, I have the to-do list. There's only so much a to-do list does. You have to fucking start doing it. So along with losing my income, I have this fucking cockroach situation that has literally affected me way more than I thought. I mean, so I've had this issue in my apartment, and I'm in Mexico, and cockroaches in Mexico are like a normal thing, right? Because I have the little ones that literally will survive 5 apocalypses if, like, you don't do any. I mean, I don't even know if it's possible to get rid of them totally because they literally will survive anything. So I had an exterminator come the first time, and I didn't know that I had to, like, I didn't know what I had to do with my stuff. I'm like, what do I do with my stuff? Because it's toxic shit, right? So the morning that he was scheduled to come, I still had all my shit out. Nobody told me I had to cover it or do whatever. So at the last minute, literally, it was like coming up the stairs, and I was told to, like, take all my shit out of the closet. Essentially, I had to pack up my shit like I was moving. All my shit into bags, and then I put what I could outside, and the dude, the exterminator guy, literally just put a lot of shit on top of my bed and covered it with a sheet. And I literally had no idea what it entailed, what he was doing. I thought he was smoking something, like fumigating it. I didn't know what he was doing, spraying, whatever. So come to find out, he was spraying. I had to leave the apartment for 5 hours after, me and India. I had nowhere to go, so we were just, like, bored wandering around for 5 hours. And then when I got back, there was, I came in, and there was dirt all over my floor. The floor was soaking the fuck wet with this chemical that he sprayed with. It was literally, I saw him spraying. I saw the mist, like, coming out the door, like, everything. How could it not land on everything is what I was thinking. And when I came back, I was so disgusted. So not only I had to leave for 5 hours, but when I came back, I had to unpack all my shit. And then I was terrified that it penetrated a lot of my shit because most of my shit was still inside. It affected me so much. This was over a month ago, the first time he came. And then 3 weeks later, just last week or 2 weeks ago, he had to come again because it didn't work. And I was finding them inside my fucking refrigerator. Ugh. I literally haven't been able, I haven't been able to eat. I haven't been able to sleep. I am scared to cook. I'm scared that any piece of crumb is going to go anywhere. I'm scared it penetrated a bunch of my shit, so I threw a bunch of my shit out. I mean, it's affected me a lot. One person I know had the same problem while she had a restaurant and is telling me he had to do it like 4 times and all the things. And I'm like, yeah, but this is my home. This is my house. This is all my things. This is all of my possessions. This is where I eat, where I sleep. This is where I'm supposed to be comfortable. So it has affected me so much. I digress. My Wi-Fi completely broke the other day. I had to get a new modem. So all of these things combined, it feels like shit is hitting the fan and I have to fucking make a move. So I went into, like, a little depression for a couple days, had a little breakdown, not gonna lie. Because all I'm thinking is, how am I gonna do this? How am I gonna do this? I don't know if I have enough money to do this. I have to continue to try to live here, right? I have to take care of her and get her tests and shit. It is so overwhelming. I am stressed the fuck out. Why is it so hard to step outside of your fucking comfort zone? Even though it's not that I'm unhappy, I'm just uncomfortable now. This comfort zone is becoming uncomfortable, and that is what a tower moment is. It's when, and I know this, I know better. It's almost as if knowing better, knowing better does not equate to doing better. I am like the perfect example of that. But the universe makes your comfort zone as uncomfortable as possible so that you budge. That's what a tower moment is. And that's exactly, I'm right smack dab in the middle of a fucking tower moment. I can't wait anymore. And so I made an appointment for Wednesday. We're going to go get her microchipped. And then I have to get what's called a screw worm test for her, which we have to go to Cancun for, which is more money, a lot of money. Then I have to get her health certificate, and then I have to buy service dog stuff, certify her and get the paperwork from the vet here for her to be a service dog, because they don't even, not that I don't want to put her in cargo. Like, that's not an option because she's never really been separate. She's never been in a crate, number one. It's not like I'm going on vacation. I'm literally just trying to get back to the States. I'm calling myself out. And it's so annoying because knowing these things, it's the fear. I don't know why I'm so fucking terrified. Because also, it has a lot to do with the fact that I don't have a lot of options. And it's not happening the way I wanted it to happen, which I know. Most things don't happen the way you plan on them happening. I know a woman who is located in a place in Texas, which is definitely not my first choice to go to. But again, I don't have many options. I don't have any other option. And she's a real estate agent, and she's going to help me find a place. And it's relatively affordable. I have bad credit, and I'm a felon. I have a criminal record, 10-plus page criminal record. It's going to be very difficult to get myself, without any help, into an apartment. I'm just being realistic. And I don't have an income, and I can't provide pay stubs. Yes, it's a place I don't want to go to, but again, I got to take one for the team. I got to just do it. And that's the thing. Because it's not happening necessarily the way I wanted it to happen, I'm kind of being an infant. I'm kind of kicking and screaming. Like, I'm being resistant because I just don't, I don't want to go somewhere I don't want to go. But I have to. And even though there's a voice in the back of my head that's like, Ange, it's going to work out way better than you even imagine. It's once you just got to get over the border. You just got to get back to the States and everything will fall into place. And that's what I keep telling myself. That's a story I keep telling myself. But because literally every single thing has not worked out and has fallen flat and essentially failed or flopped, even though I know there's no such thing as failure, but every single thing that I've tried to do up until this point has not panned out. So, of course, why would I think that this is going to be any fucking different? I have a lifetime of being disappointed by other people. I have a lifetime of people not following through with what they say they're going to do and being disappointed. So why would I think this is going to be any different? It sucks having to rely on somebody else to help me get into a place, but I literally have no other option. So I'm trying really hard to change the narrative in my brain and convince myself that just because it happened like this in every experience up until now doesn't necessarily mean it's going to keep happening like that, because that's a story I'm trying to change in my brain. At some point, I have to start accepting and receiving and allowing myself to receive help from people. So that's where I'm at. Trusting the process is fucking hard, but it's literally just a tiny piece of the story. I've done a lot of work, right? I know a lot of shit now about myself and about how the universe works. Now it's just about putting it into action and relying on the new information that I have. And it's fucking hard because my brain and my body keep wanting to go back to the sameness, to the past experiences, to the evidence, because I don't have any new evidence yet. I need to allow myself to receive new evidence to prove the old stories wrong. So at some point in this whole journey of trusting the process, you have to allow yourself to change the stories you're telling yourself and allow the new information and the new evidence into your life and stop resisting it. I'm stressing myself out. And I don't want to hear, you got this, you're strong, you got this, because I know I got this. It's just fucking hard, right? I'm more than 5.5 years into recovery, and I've done a shit ton of work on myself, and I've changed my mindset, and literally, I'm a completely different person, but that doesn't fucking mean that this shit is any easier. It's just fucking money. If I knew that I would have enough, and I've been working so hard on changing my money mindset and trying to get out of this survival, scarcity, lack mindset, because I lived in addiction for so long where literally there was never enough of anything, constantly running out, constantly feeling like there's never enough. And it's so hard to come out of that. And it's like, why didn't I do this fucking a year ago when I had the money to rely on? Now I literally don't. And so it's so hard to trust that it's going to be okay and that there will be enough. Like, I'm not asking for advice. I'm just being honest. Trusting the process is fucking hard. So what kind of stories are you telling yourself that are keeping you from moving forward? Because there is something. There's a story that you are telling yourself that is preventing you from moving forward. There's only so much trusting the process that you can do. At some point, you got to say, okay, I got to do this, and just fucking do it. So with that, I think that's all I have to say. I love you so much. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you in the next video. So if you're new here, I'm Angie, and I spent nearly 20 years as a junkie, heroin addict, been in and out of jails, detoxes, hospitals, countless infections, almost lost limbs. And at the end of my addiction, my parents died within 3 months of each other, and I lost absolutely everything in a really, really ugly probate case. More of the details are on my channel if you missed out on those videos. I got to stop buying myself coffee in the morning, start making it at home. I've literally been living on, I've eaten tuna every single day, no exaggeration, not exaggerating, every single day for over a month since the exterminator came, because again, I'm terrified to cook.